I'm fighting baby hippos. The fuck?
Bro, I'm getting like
Yeah, that's what you
2.5
know.
mil to fight a fucking deer that I have to do nothing to. If as long as I don't
Yeah,
get
no.
behind it, like I think I could probably choke a deer out. What is up, everyone? So this is the first episode of the S'mores podcast. Basically, I decided to start a podcast with two of my Twitch mods slash two of my internet best friends. So down there you can see Nas, and over there you can see Bruda. But we had a conversation a few days ago about dicks
Yeah.
and sucking dicks for money. That's not an awkward start to this, but that's basically what spawned into what we decided to do a podcast for. So, welcome, boys. I definitely hope we can get on some rambly nonsense.
Oh,
I'm
you already
excited.
know that's what we do on the daily, though. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
It's
really.
literally gaming with friends 101.
This is
Yeah.
pretty much just a gaming Discord call that we decided to actually record. Is essentially all it is.
Literally.
Basically, honestly.
Just remove the games.
Right,
Right.
less
You don't really
gaming.
do much in them anyway.
So one of the first things I want to talk about is the fact, I guess there's a couple things I want to talk about. You guys were actually two of the closest people to me during my drinking days. So I think you guys have seen things and heard things and been a part of things that I wish and don't even really remember. But I figured I would kind of go into like a random little, you guys still smoke, I don't topic. And it's not weird for me to be around weed. Like I've seen that question a lot. Is like weed triggering to you? But I'm kind of used to it. And I think it was you, Bruda, the other day that was like commenting back to someone that said, it's like you not having smoking on this channel is like fucking someone watching My Little Pony and then not watching it and having a YouTube channel about it. And you basically said like, no, it's like someone who watched My Little Pony for years and still continues to fucking make videos about it even though they don't watch it anymore.
Right.
It makes no sense. It's like you go to school, and it's you're not constantly going to school. Eventually, you'll go into the workplace and just be doing that. But that's the same shit as just remembering what you learned in school.
Exactly. Like you don't
Exact
have
same
to
thing.
actively be smoking all the time to know about the industry. If anything,
Right.
I'm less high every day, so I can actually retain more. And like, I'm not saying I couldn't retain things when I was smoking, but I'm retaining way more with a sober brain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
Does-
feel like it's more along the lines of like you still have this information, even though you don't smoke anymore. You have spent years of experience learning all the stuff that you have with cannabis. So I feel like yeah, you don't smoke anymore, but you still have that knowledge. You still can inform people, educate people on cannabis. You know what I mean? And
Right.
the people who are just kind of like getting mad at you because you don't smoke anymore are really just the ones who are like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're just turning your back on us. It's not, I'm turning my back on you guys. If anything, I'm trying to open up towards you guys and be like open about like my situation and trying to still help you guys, educate you guys on cannabis and do the best I can. Kind
And that's a big thing is like I feel like I'm still a cannabis activist and now I'm kind of getting like an outside view of what cannabis smoking is from like some people who don't smoke. And when you're in the industry, like that's why I made the whole Weed Myth series is because I would like challenge, all of these ridiculous things where I was like, my friend told me this and it's true because he told me he grows weed. He knows the most about it. So now I'm seeing like an objective societal view on how the
Right.
world views the cannabis industry. It's an odd topic.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like there's such a stigma about it though, due to like the the war on drugs, and the mass like media kind of input on it to the point where it's like no matter like example, one of my good friend's grandmothers, she still thinks weed is like the devil. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to smoke cannabis.
It
You're only
is.
supposed to smoke it if the doctor gives it to you. But like, here's my thing with that. It's like they grew up in an era where weed was like really taught as the like as the devil's lettuce. You know what I mean? There was such a stigma on it back then that it just that generation kind of stays in its ways into to a certain degree.
The
You know, there's
global
some-
handling of it kind of messes with that.
Yeah, I
know,
feel as
like-
well.
I know that the Netherlands gets their cannabis from Morocco.
Right.
It's illegal to grow cannabis in Morocco, yet Morocco pumps out a shit ton of weed. And it's like
Right.
that type of stuff is kind of what stigmatizes it. You know, it doesn't really help the whole scene.
Right.
Kind of gets thrown in with like Coke, how Coke is handled and stuff like that.
Well,
And
isn't
once we get away
Canada
from that, it'll be good.
isn't Canada like the #1 exporter right now of weed to the world?
Globally, maybe.
Yeah, because you fucking get your weed shipped to you in the mail, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't. There is delivery services. Like I'm sure down in California now, there's delivery services
Oh
that
yeah,
you can hit
yeah.
up.
There's a bunch of delivery services, and see the thing with California, SoCal specifically, is there's so many non-certified shops, like hole-in-the-wall shops. I want to say, and their product is just basically non-tested. It's still weed, but you just don't get that guarantee that you get with like certified, approved by the government cannabis, because they show you all the testing, they give you all the information. But at the same time, I don't know.
There's
It's
a consistency to legal cannabis as well.
Right.
That's where you get the same strain. You know it's the same strain.
Right.
You don't have to worry that it's just someone was like, fuck, I forget, let's just make it up,
Right.
Like, you know exactly what it is. Because
Yeah,
you know that probably happens. Someone buys a bunch of weed, smokes it, forgets the strain, and then has to just make it up. You know
right,
that's what's happening.
true.
That's why everyone called Blue Dream for so long. They're like, "What
Yeah.
is this? Blue Dream? I swear it's Blue Dream."
Because that's what's put out. A lot of people just be like, "Yo, that's popular. That's the one right there." I mean, the big ones, OG Kush, or like the purple, or like stuff like that. Like the
Pineapple
really
Express when
catchy.
that movie came out.
Right.
Well, it's almost like compare it to like just counterfeit goods. It's like you see a nice bag, you're like, "What is that? Gucci, Prada?"
Mhm.
Realistically, just made in some little shop and who the fuck knows where, probably with children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you guys. So, I guess since our podcast essentially spawned from a ridiculous scenario of, I guess I should expand on that for the audience. I think Nas one day was sitting there and he was like, "Would you suck one dick that was huge for $20 million or 10 dicks for 10?" I have a similar scenario.
Yeah.
So if you could only choose one weapon and there was
Right.
400 angry goats coming at you, what would you choose? And there's a qualifier here. If you choose a gun, you can't have extra clips and you have limited ammo. What gun do you use for 400 angry rabid goats?
I'm going with a katana.
Oh, you're talking goats. Oh,
I think I can just spin like Link around in circles and just continuously chop off their head.
Dude, you get tired so
I just have
quickly
to
though.
get enough momentum and then just continue it. I might get a little dizzy, but there's only so many goats.
You can use the fucking
Okay,
Super Mario
it's
flying
called-
move.
listen. Okay, I want you guys. It's called an Egyptian Kophesis sword.
Oh, is it like the scythe looking sword?
Kind of. It's Khopesh. It's
Huh.
like a sword, and it has a curve in it.
Okay. So
I
like
would
the
have
scythe
two
type
of those.
thing. Okay.
Kind of. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about?
You just watch too much anime. I think it's the
That's a legit ancient Egyptian weapon. You know what I mean? I would definitely take two of those, like sharpened, like modern, sharpened ones, and go to town. Like you just slice. You know what I mean? If they're
That makes
goats,
sense.
it's easy slicing. You just gotta go for the throat. And
I mean,
That's what I was thinking. Slicing with the katana.
Bruta
But
didn't
katana-
specify that he wanted a sharp katana. So
No,
if
I
you got a
need
dull,
katana. What the fuck?
yeah,
Katana, it's not
See,
sharp.
I think-
I was very specific.
I think both of you are underestimating two things. One, how many 300 goats is. Like, this is not going to be a 4-minute fucking brawl. This is going to be happening for like an hour. That's enough goats
Right,
to be
you're
coming at
gonna-
you continually. So I don't know if
But
you
as
guys have the
long as you can
stamina for it.
maintain a spin, and then they'll back off and be like, "Whoa, whoa, that was
They're
nuts."
they're angry. They're charging.
Now,
You-
here's my. 100%. I agree with Josh. Realistically, I am running, and like it's a run and hit kind of guerrilla tactic. So I'm running.
You think you can
slicing,
outrun goats?
Run. Well, yeah, bro.
I don't know.
If you're giving
What's
me
the
the
speed of a
terrain,
goat?
give me like the location. Bro,
What's
like,
the
first
speed of
all.
a goat?
I need to know the.
I mean,
speed of
that
a
can all
goat.
be chosen by you. It wasn't a location specific question.
Fast,
Okay, so
fast,
say if
fast.
it's like in the in the forest or something.
50 miles per hour. There's no way you can.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Bro, goats are, I didn't even take that into
I didn't
consideration
know
when
goats
making this
get-
question.
yeah, the goats
Goats are
got
fast as
speed. I
shit.
didn't know that.
What is it, a fucking
Wait.
cheetah goat? Is a goat a close
Yeah, no.
ancestor of a
what
cheetah?
goat did you look at? Was it like the
That's
fastest
a top
goat?
speed. No, that's top speed. They maintain 10 miles per hour over several miles.
Alright, yeah, that's more realistic.
But I'm
Yeah.
assuming they're angry goats, so they're at their top
So
speed.
they're the top speed.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they got the NOS boosters turned on. See, I was thinking
Alright.
that I don't want to rely on personal stamina and swinging something forever. So at first I was leaning towards the flamethrower, but then I think I would just have flaming goats running at me.
Yeah, no,
and
definitely.
that
Yeah,
just
they
makes
wouldn't
it
die right
twice
away.
as dangerous.
I wouldn't think. Yeah, I don't think they would. I think it would just get worse. It'd get more problematic. You know what? I'd take 10 mines. 10 landmines.
I guess it didn't
And
specify.
landmine could take out 300 goats?
That might
If
also
you
take
place
you
them out
out.
properly, you know what I mean? You
Like
can
if it
probably get them
doesn't.
to.
So
Huh?
here's my answer: a very sharp chainsaw. I think a chainsaw would still rely on some sense of personal stamina, but I wouldn't be sitting there swinging a weapon over and over and over again. And I
Okay,
get-
But you're good.
spacing though. You have no spacing technique with that.
Yeah, and then with that too,
Just
though,
in there.
the hair is gonna be like the hair is gonna get stuck in there, and then your chainsaw's gonna be stuck, and then you're gonna be fucked. And you're just like, oh,
That's
done.
valid.
Huh?
I guess I didn't take the possible clogging. I couldn't even fucking get a weed eater started today. So
Like maybe an RPG with several.
I guess
Well,
that's
so
true.
I don't think.
Well,
I
are we?
don't know. I feel like you guys are overestimating 300. Like,
That's what I'm
it's not-
saying. I didn't make it like 30. 300 is a
And I
lot
have
of fucking
10
goats.
Shots.
10
No,
shots with
I
an
I
think
feel
RPG.
like I have to
Not.
see it physically to like really grasp the situation. Because in my head, I don't think 300 is that much.
I think it's more. Think of a petting zoo. Okay, so a
And
petting
boxes.
zoo is like maybe 8 goats,
Okay.
and that's a lot of fucking goats. So it's like
But, like-
50 petting zoos.
I feel okay. All right. I'm gonna do math right now. We're gonna see how big a goat.
Football teams.
All right, it's 6 football teams.
Yeah, because football teams have 52 man roster.
Well, that's
Okay.
that's not even just that's 6 football teams, including everyone on the sidelines, basically.
Yeah, like full football teams, not including coaches, but like full roster football teams. Yeah.
It's a fucking lot of
Okay,
goats, and I
so-
don't think a weapon that relies on physical stamina would actually stand against them.
So a goat stands at 23 inches at the shoulder. So it's about 3 feet, 4 feet tall.
23 inches is 2 feet.
It would be like a
And then the
fucking
head.
Spartan army of goats. Like it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I just don't think you could swing a sword enough to actually fucking not be
That's what I'm
exhausted by
saying.
goat like 105.
You're right.
And if they
Well,
were coming at
if-
you from all angles, you'd be fucked. Brutus
I've
spinning
watched-
Oh,
technique.
yeah,
won't
if,
work.
if you're
And the katana is
surrounded
the
by
best
goats,
way.
then it's all bad. I feel like if you're surrounded, then you really have no options. You know what I mean? But then that's where I come into mind with the landmine thing, because then I'm like, if I have a area, I just have like a surface area. They just have to run through that surface area, and then
See, but
They're dead.
landmines
One
would
goat
only
could
take.
waste one mine though,
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
feel
right?
like you might only take
it
out
depends.
10
Okay,
goats
let's
per
see.
landmine.
Yeah.
landmine
And then you're fucked. Then it's hand-to-hand combat.
blast radius.
You're also, I guess in this scenario I didn't really specify, but I don't think you would be like preparing to take on an army of goats. I feel like it would be like a zombie
You would just be
apocalypse.
You just happen to spawn, like you just happen to see an army of rabid goats coming at you.
You're spawning
Yo.
goats.
Yo,
IRL.
that- Bro, it sounds like a Rust tournament all of a sudden. Jesus. I would say, I don't know, because if that's the case, it being that, but I'm still thinking terrain-wise, right? Because if you have,
Can I have a car?
if you're in like modern
You
city, or
Didn't think of
True.
that.
yeah, that's very true. But if you're in like a modern city, say for example, you could corner them into a hallway. You know what I mean, and take
Wow.
out a mass amount of them.
You
Or,
think,
like-
you think you could scrap them in a hallway?
Well, I don't think.
know, man.
Not just a hallway alone. I'm talking about like a building. Yeah, if I could get them in a building, bro, it's a wrap. 'Cause
No,
I'm
I think
just
he's
gonna
got
throw-
something
In their
there.
heads as like
Yeah, I'm throwing nades throughout all the hallways, like Tarkov, bro. I'm just boom, 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 because they're gonna rush me. That's just what it is.
I think you got
know what I
something with the hallway idea.
Yeah, because like think about it. Say they're coming up the stairwell, right? I throw one nade down there. That's I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 30, 30
Brother,
goats right there.
no
You
Boom.
think
way.
30?
8 maybe? I feel
Eight. Well, if
dude, I
they're
feel like
rushing
in
They
a
it,
may
how
single.
many
pile on
goats are
top of
you
each other
thinking?
though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking goats are on like kind
Yeah.
of like really squashed together, coming up those hair. So like 3 to 4 in like in a row in like one lane. You know what I mean?
You could maybe
Yeah.
fit 9 goats on a stairwell. I don't think you could fit more. Like, if there was a big landing area.
If it's like,
Because a
'cause
goat,
usually
like you said,
highways
is
are like
3 feet tall. So it's like fucking 4 to 6 feet wide in like
How much notice do we get
length.
before they start coming?
Uh,
yeah, that's true.
you get 5
Like, can
minutes
I
of
get a-
preparation.
5 minutes.
Fuck, only 5 minutes, bro. Sheesh.
I think
Yeah.
if you started like in the middle of a field, right, and could make sure you didn't get surrounded and made it to a city and got to a hallway, you could probably start like taking goats out one by one in the hallway. The goat pile of bodies would fucking pile up, and then it would be much easier to like stab over them and they wouldn't be immediately attacking you. But if you
That's
got backed into a fucking
Yeah.
corner and you couldn't make your first goat body pile, you'd be fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, because they're ramming you down. They're running you down quick. Ah, man.
I'm gonna stick with the katana.
Yeah,
think
honestly,
it-
bro, I kind of
Hallway
want to go
katana
sword
style.
and shield now that I think about, or like this,
Sword.
the Egyptian sword and shield. Yeah, like a
You got
big,
armor too,
like a bronze shield. Yeah, I was thinking armor. Yeah.
like a full.
I mean, if it's a zombie
outfit.
apocalypse, I would feel like I have some sort of protection. Yeah, you know what I mean.
See, but
I'm not
then
just running around bare skinned like, but
You got your
who do
family
I look
crest
like to
on
you?
your shield.
Right.
if we made it even harder, we could say things that you could like access from a city. So like
Okay.
if we made it really zombie apocalypse style, it would be like all you really had was the nearest Ace Hardware or fucking hardware store. You got to run in and pick one thing from a hardware store, like
I guess
an
Yeah, mine
axe,
would
or, an
be
axe or a
a tractor.
chainsaw. That's what I'm saying.
I would say I would probably go if we're going like city, right? There's probably a sporting goods center in there, right? I'm taking like a backpack, like a golf bag, and I'm filling that shit up with baseball bats. And when we're going slaughtering through hallways, bro, just dink, and keep it moving, keep it moving, boom.
I'm just imagining Scooby Doo.
Yeah, dude. If there's like a wood one, like I'm gonna have to probably carry wood ones because I'm pretty sure metal would just bend all the time. So I need like a strong wood one, like a bunch of them, and just maybe a
think that'll
pipe, like a
break?
metal pipe would work too, though. Like
A
a
crowbar?
little- yeah,
Crowbar.
crowbar. But like crowbars could get like hooked, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
you can't get it out.
My
See, that's
final
why I would have multiple bats because if I break one,
my
pull one
final
out.
answer
What if you get
is
300?
a broadsword and a waifu pillow. Waifu pillow for protection, broadsword just to really simp it up.
Oh my god.
I don't see how your waifu pillow is good. See, this is why I said shield, and he said waifu pillow. You guys try to question my realism about a shield to his waifu pillow. Now, who's
See, but
really gonna
you
live?
said the shield before. He said
Yeah,
the
but if we're gonna do a comparison, who you think is gonna live? The guy with a bunch of baseball bats and a shield, or a guy with a bronze sword and a waifu pillow?
See, but if we die, who's happier?
Why a bronze sword?
yeah,
Broadsword.
because I feel like that's
I feel like
that's
bronze is
two-handed,
Not
right?
bronze, broad. BROAD. It's like
Oh,
the
broad,
big.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a
It's like Game of
two-handed sword.
Thrones, fucking dual
Type,
wheel.
yeah.
Oh, wait, how would I hold
Claymore
the waifu
type
pillow
shit.
if I was holding it with two hands?
You
Fuck.
would have to hold her on your
You gotta
back,
shove it
like
in your
have her
pants.
like a strap on your back, and you just carry her around.
I
in,
think
like,
the
a little
katana
case.
kind of holds because you could probably swing that with one hand. But could you cut a
Yeah,
goat's
well-
head off with one hand? Is the question.
That's
Oh,
why I
you
said
could
I would have
dual-wield
two of the
katanas.
Egyptian swords because you could just slice and slice. You know what I mean? You're slicing.
Right.
Slicing is like easy, just swift. It's all about like torque, like of the arm, really, of the wrist.
Mhm.
Don't tell me how I know that. I just
You could bring golfing.
Deadpool style.
Right. honestly, you know what I mean? It's all torque. You just whoosh. If you get a smooth cut, you just keep moving,
Mhm.
man. But
You get one bad cut though. You're
honestly,
done.
though, now that I think about it, I really like the bad idea because that sounds a lot more fun than just swords. I'm gonna be honest with you, having multiple bats and just running around, just dink, dink.
I have a question that comes from that, or
Alright.
kind of comes from that.
Let's hear it.
You have to fight an animal in hand-to-hand combat. The
Oh.
more it weighs, the more money you get. What are you fighting? Like, let's say you got like 100K per kilogram.
Why am I
or
about to
something,
look up
you know?
animals in my weight class real quick?
I'm gonna go with some kind of catfish. Wait. So
Oh, you
Okay, are we
you-
talking about animals on land, like, or
Yeah, like
fish
yeah.
included?
Okay, well, we'll do animals on land because like technically you could like force beach a whale. You know? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say I could probably just harpoon a shark if I'm gonna be 100%, or like an orca
no,
or something.
It's hand to
combat,
hand.
You get
Oh,
nothing else.
Oh, I could probably tussle with
A koala?
I could be a koala.
I don't.
Dude,
That
no
way.
way. Have you ever seen a koala's claws? Koalas have terrifying claws. Like, people in
I feel
Australia
like-
are actually afraid of
A
koalas.
sloth.
Sloths also have ginormous claws.
But they're not
But
moving
they're
at.
slow.
They're no, like realistically,
Ah.
they're biologically
quick?
slow.
I
Are they
think they're
quick,
quick
like,
when
with
they
the
attack.
Biologically slow. They're biologically slow. I'm telling you, they don't attack because they
Yeah,
have no speed. They're literally the weakest animal on the ground.
Okay,
When
but
they
That's what I
come down
thought.
from the trees, they're the weakest animal.
But a
I watched
sloth
a bunch of
weighs-
nature documentaries
though.
that have that exact statement.
a sloth weighs what, like 10 pounds?
Like
Uh,
12.
So you
20
didn't
to be
specify
honest.
how much money I'm getting for each pound of this animal also. I need to weigh
so
my
it could
pros
be
and
like,
cons.
True.
let's say like 100K.
For each
per
pound?
Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
or like 10K.
I'm gonna go with a deer.
A deer? You
Yeah.
think you could fight a deer?
I think I could fucking throw some hands with the deer. I think if
I
if
don't-
if there was a scenario where the deer was not scared of me, and it was a female deer, a doe, it wouldn't have horns, and I'm pretty sure I could scrap with that shit.
It could kick. Though.
How much does a baby hippo
Yeah,
weigh?
I just won't get behind it.
No, you can.
Bro, you're not fighting a hippo.
Yeah, I'm fighting a baby
more
hippo.
humans than
You
most
said
animals.
weight. If we're going by weight, I'm going with baby hippo.
There's
Wait.
no, dude. You would.
I'd rather fight an elephant.
No, I'm talking about like a 6-month-old. Hold on, let's see. 55 to 100. Okay. So when they're first born, they're 55 pounds.
Jesus Christ! I feel
55
sorry for
pounds
hippo
times-
moms.
Yeah.
That's
50
5.5 mil.
But we're gonna. That's 5.5 mil. I'm fighting baby hippos. The fuck.
Bro, I'm getting like
Yeah, that's what you
2.5
said.
mil to fight a fucking deer that I have to do nothing to. As long as I
Yeah,
don't get
no.
behind it, like I think I could probably choke a deer out.
Just head so.
Hey,
Just
like,
headlock.
Fucker.
So you think you're gonna get on its back and choke it out?
Just go.
you
go to
know,
rear naked choke,
I
bro.
think so, and I think
Yeah, straight up.
because the only thing I have to worry about with the deer is getting kicked, and I don't. I think I could survive a
Whack
deer
with its
kick.
head.
You could what?
You could whack, like it could whack you
Yeah.
with its own head.
But I
Yeah,
think
it's horns.
if I
Like
had
a
good
giraffe, you know.
if I had good
think you could
positioning
take
on
a
my
giraffe?
choke, I think I got it.
Well, because they're gonna buck though, right? So you're gonna have to watch
Yeah.
out while you have their neck. Like either
Yeah,
you're gonna have to twist that like quickly. It's like you have a one-shot opportunity because if he bucks the wrong way, that ain't gonna end well, Chief. I'm telling you. Because think about it, their horns grow like this, right? They're kind of
Mhm.
like, they're multi-directional. They're not just one set of horns. So if he goes up while your face is like right near him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only gonna end one
Yeah.
way.
All right,
You're
never
coming
mind.
out with
I
a-
changed
Mr.
my
McGregor's
answer.
shoulder pumps.
I changed my
Mhm.
answer. I'm gonna take my chances on fighting a bear.
Wow.
A bear.
Are we talking
A
about?
bear.
All right, Josh.
Okay, what kind
Josh
of bear?
is
Be
fun
more
now.
specific. Are we talking about a baby bear, juvenile bear?
Anything
just
other
wanna
than a black bear, like maybe like a baby bear that weighed like
brown bear?
50 to
Or a
100
polar
pounds.
baby
polar
brown
bear? No, I feel like polar bears are fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could be like baby.
I've seen stories
Those brown
of people
bears are
killing
extremely
bears.
small. They weigh about 1 pound at birth.
Oh, well, fuck that. I'm only getting $100,000. I feel like I honestly feel like the deer is being slept on. I think you're overestimating the strength of it. Either you're overestimating or I'm underestimating the strength of a deer.
Let's see how big a deer is. Deer weight.
So
gotta be
a
like
sloth
20
weighs up
pounds.
to 17 pounds.
17.
And it's guaranteed dub. Guaranteed
Dude,
dub.
I couldn't
No,
do-
nothing.
But I feel
Sloths
like
are
a
too
baby
cute.
hippo is also a guaranteed dub though. That's
No,
55.
dude. No.
Sloths
Yo,
are too
if we're
cute.
talking about like a 2 month baby hippo, I'm pretty sure I could beat a baby hippo, dog. Just like out of straight up physical force to stomp that little hoe out. Just I know that's fucked up, but like we're talking about realistically. I'm making
Pia,
5.5 million. Well,
we're
I don't even
canceled
have
our
an animal.
first episode for talking about killing baby animals.
Yikes! Yikes!
I don't.
I mean,
I feel like a deer
realistically,
makes the
though.
most sense to me because I'm gonna be thinking about this shit all night now. I'm gonna have dreams about fucking fighting deer, but it just seems like it wouldn't put up the most like force. I feel like a lot of animals have like claws or teeth or like I might die from
Okay.
like Lyme disease,
That's fair.
but
Okay, so the lightest deer, by the way, is a roe deer, about 22 pounds.
okay, it's just even more
77
money.
pounds. Yeah,
If
but
okay, oh, it's hand to hand. What if my hands are driving a car?
No,
Really?
Like, yeah, it's gotta be
Really?
it's in, like almost like
Cheater.
gladiator style,
Cheater.
like form of fight,
So
hand-to-hand combat.
I think we should just put these on. We should rent out a coliseum and we should put someone in the coliseum against an animal, and we'll just slowly go up in size.
yeah, when I have
Yeah.
that kind of money, I don't think I would be worried about people fighting baby animals anymore.
Hold on, let me call Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I don't think I'd think about that.
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, alright. I got other shit to worry about right now. Like how not to get canceled. Oh wait, that already happened.
Wait, how much an alligator weigh? Or crocodile?
I don't think you
You're
can
not
kill
winning
it.
against an alligator.
How would
dog.
you kill
Yo,
an
I
alligator
can prep
though?
for that.
How would you
Yo,
prep for
you're
that?
not beating
You
an
gonna grow
alligator.
claws?
What are you talking about?
Well, if you get
There's
roll
so many videos on
that
getting on top of
like
an
a
alligator
Beyblade, dude.
Okay,
or a crocodile.
yes, there's videos of people getting on top of alligators, but normally after that it involves them like duct taping their
Oh,
mouth.
1,000 pounds. We're good. Like I just want that.
What, are you gonna break the neck of a goddamn dinosaur? Like, it's not possible.
Right, you're gonna just have to keep punching it constantly in the forehead.
You're getting death
Gouge
rolled.
eyes, like
You're right,
crazy
bro. Just
shit,
like
you know, you
stomp
gotta
them out
like
or something. Yeah.
you're on
This
its
is
back,
your life.
it's done. It's
I
game
think there's a
over.
better
GG.
chance of Nos killing a baby hippo than you killing any size of alligator. Is all I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
I'm going the safe route, taking my 20
I'm
mil and killing a
realistic.
deer.
I'm just saying.
I think I could take on a crocodile. Just like
That's
Steve.
Rip Bruder, man.
Just like Steve Irwin.
So what songs you want at your funeral, dog?
Right? Does your family still get the money if you lose?
Right?
Can you imagine?
All right, so how has your guys' mental health been during COVID? Because I feel like there's a big... It's weird. We're mostly all kind of introverts. So I feel like introverts aren't really struggling that much during COVID. Like, this is our normal fucking day. But I feel like extroverts actually genuinely, I think, are struggling right now. How are y'all doing? Give me a check-in.
I would say realistically, like I'm normal. I don't know. I feel like yeah, you're right to the point that it's like this is an average day for me anyway. I didn't really socialize before COVID, but
Right.
at the same time, you see me in game. We do like GTA RP. I'm a social butterfly in game, but when it comes to real life, I don't like talking to people.
Right.
I don't know what that's about. Like yeah, realistically, like yeah, I can hold a conversation with someone, but in real life, I just don't feel like I have to. I don't have the need nor like want to do that. But in game, for some weird reason, I'm just like, yo, who are you? All right, what's up? And it just started like some random ass
Yeah.
conversation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think video games are helping a lot with everyone's
Oh, yeah.
mental health. Oh.
Oh.
Bruda had a bump bump.
Yeah, that was weird.
Bruda, how you
Yeah.
doing during COVID?
It's been pretty good. Honestly, I mean, I worked from home before, so haven't really been too bad. Other than work, like me struggling with work in terms of like actually getting sales and whatnot. It's been tough because
Right.
nobody wants to spend the extra money. Which I get, you know, I completely get. But other than that, my mental health's been great.
That's
It's,
good.
I was gonna
honestly
say,
been
I
pretty good.
feel like 2020 has been awkwardly negative, but also very positive at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
For me personally, like, yeah, like stuff outside the world has, that's just gone on a whole nother 180. I don't know what's happening outside. But me personally, like, my art's is starting to take off. Like, I'm starting to get more confidence in myself. I'm starting to work out again. Like, it's me personally, I feel like I'm good, naturally. But, like, outside, I worry about, like, all the other stuff that's going on
Right.
that I Like, I
Mhm.
don't know where we're gonna be in 2021. To be honest with you, I don't know how this next like 4 months is about to play out.
That's the biggest thing is like I feel like this year I agree. Like personally, fucking shit's been great. I chose a really shitty year to get sober. I will say that. But
Yeah.
like I feel like in terms of what's happening outside, it's not affecting my daily life as much as I think it is affecting other people's. And I think that's
Mhm.
mostly because I'm an introvert and like I spend a lot of my time indoors. I work from home. I do everything from home. So the only thing that's missing from like my daily routine is I might not be going to Starbucks. If I'm going to Starbucks, I'm gonna like drive through. Like I feel fucking
Right.
Mhm.
terrible for everyone that's like an essential worker and has to go to the fucking grocery store or go to,
Right.
retail every
Just
day.
being outside, yeah, and you had to deal with so much like kind of crap from people because you're just really there to do your job. You know what I mean? And now that they have this new standard and try to have more safety and people are free to their opinion, but like are causing social chaos essentially.
Right.
Is just it makes it that much harder to do your job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're trying to get home essentially, and
Right.
there's just people just trying to just being I don't want to say that,
I
but
feel like
like,
going outside is like driving in the snow, but there's no snow on the
right,
ground. Like that's that's the closest
Yeah.
thing I can
yeah,
equate it to. You're just driving home like I really fucking hope I get home today. And
right,
but
Mhm.
like I've been pretty good with masks. Like I've worn my masks consistently all the time. Occasionally when I'm walking into a store, I'll realize and be like, "Oh fuck," after running back to the car and grab my mask. But I went into Chipotle the other day and I entirely like I didn't even think about putting a mask on. I think it was just like I was having a fucking long day and I wasn't thinking about it. So I go in, order my food, like talking to the people that are actually making my food. All of them are treating me entirely normally. I get to like where I'm going to pay for my burrito and I realize, "Oh fuck, I don't have a mask on." And I look to my fucking left and there's like a bunch of Uber Eats people staring at me like you're the fucking problem. But like none of them gave me any shit. Like I was thinking if I ever went outside without a mask on, it would be like a Karen
right.
situation
Oh yeah,
where
Mhm.
everyone would be
definitely.
like, "You're denied food." And I would never
Right,
fucking be able to go back to that Chipotle again. But
right,
I was fine. And the weird thing is like as soon as I moved into the sober house, one of my roommates caught COVID and we all got tested several times to make sure that we also didn't catch it. But it was weird and like there was another level of anxiety and terror there being that close to someone with COVID. Like we were sharing a house with
right,
someone that had COVID. And
right,
luckily none of us caught it, but I was literally just questioning like every fucking thing that I did. Like once he caught it and he tested positive, I was thinking of all the times in the last week I had been semi close to him and especially
Mhm.
being a
right.
smoker, I was like, I'm gonna fucking die from COVID. This is how I go. I get sober and all of a
Right.
sudden I fucking die from some disease I can't have any control over. But we're all good. Everyone's healthy in the house, so it's a positive.
Yeah, dude. Having my mom as a nurse is definitely gives me my little kind of sense of anxiety because she's working around that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, you
Mhm.
know what I mean. She comes home and she sterilizes herself before she comes home, but it's still that next level of anxiety of maybe she would get it while she's at work. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's just like that goes to, oh, what if she gives it to my brothers and then they
Right.
get, you know what I mean? And it even comes from me. It's like because I go to the dispensary often and I wear a mask, of course, but like still, you never know. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Everyone really doesn't know the extent to what causes it, what gives you really that um what triggers it, I guess. I don't know
Right.
how to put that. How
Yeah.
you catch it. So I feel like just being outside gives me my own sense of like anxiety, and that's why I kind of still find comfort being an introvert indoors anyway.
Right.
So it just kind of gives me that security that like how can I catch it? I'm not near anybody.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
near you.
there
Like I'm talking to you guys. I'm interacting with people, but I'm not physically near anyone besides my family. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I can count how many people I interact with. I can
Right.
Right.
literally name my bubble,
Right.
Right.
because
Same.
my mom she paints for like our like family friends, so we know their bubble,
Right.
and it's been like our area hasn't had that many, which has been pretty good.
Cases.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canada's been pretty good about it. It seems like you
Yeah,
have
I was
it
gonna
like
say
It's
actually
going
Canada's
up
been
maintained
now
up
though.
there.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's up to
It's
over 400 a day.
It's oh shit. That's actually a lot for a day. You're reaching like half US numbers. But I was especially scared because I went to rehab during the pandemic. And like rehab is 80 to 100 people that are interacting all the fucking time. Like we went and smoked cigarettes. We were constantly like right the fuck next to people. And their precautions for like people with COVID was literally like, all right, wear a mask for the first 72 hours. But if anyone came in with it, it would have spread around that entire fucking facility and we would have all been super fucked. So
Right.
I was kind of amazed that I got through that little like bubble and didn't actually catch
It
anything.
just shows like that you're, yeah, and then like think about that, and then you went straight into the sober house, and then
Right.
have that
And then it happened.
situation. Like,
Yeah.
that's still that's extremely lucky.
Right. And
Ooh,
I just think that like Discord, Zoom, all these different things are giving even people that are extroverts, it's giving us a sense of like connection still. Cuz I talk to you
Yeah.
guys every fucking day. I go to my AA meetings on Zoom. Like there's still a sense of connection if you look for it. So I feel like a lot of the Karens that are just freaking the fuck out about like I go into the store and I can't see people smile at me. It's like fucking get in the Zoom call and fucking have people smile with you there. It's not that hard.
talk to your friends. I don't know why you need a stranger's approval.
Right.
To just like
Mm-hmm.
just exist, woman. It's not that hard.
But I
You
also
literally
think
just exist.
I think that's all coming from extroverts needing, to actually interact with other people.
Like physically. I think it's a physical connection thing, and that goes down to like primal instincts. Like
Right.
we were once prey, and so we naturally like are hunters, like gatherers, and what's the word for it? Pack lion. What's the
The
I don't
pack
know,
mentality.
herd.
Yeah, herd
Yeah,
mentality.
so you know what I mean. Like
Group by numbers.
your mentality is to stay together, to be interacting with one another physically. So I feel like there's some truth to it, like biologically, but
Right.
you should be able to control your urges enough as a person to be like, all right, I'm putting a lot of people in jeopardy by interacting with them in a physical interaction. Not only
Right.
am I jeopardizing my friends, my family, but theirs as well, and then
Yeah.
so on. You know, it's like more of a trickle down system. You know what I mean?
That's
So
all. It's all mental health related though. Like there's narcissists out there that don't give a fuck about anyone except themselves.
right,
So
right.
they're not going to want to wear a mask when they go outside. And I feel like the pandemic itself is just exacerbating a lot of people's mental illness. Unless they're using like, I wish BetterHelp was a plug right now. I'm going to be like, use code SMORES for BetterHelp. Because there's like online therapy you can go to and get help during these times. But I feel like we see it now, even like celebrities. There's a lot of cases of people who are struggling with mental illness who it's exacerbating, like Kanye. Like Kanye was just fucking pissing on his Grammy the other day, probably going through another like bipolar flare. And I think I said this to one of you guys the other day. I was talking about my old tweets and how like I used to manically tweet all the time. And I was like, I was almost on Kanye level. And one of you went, no, you weren't. No.
I said that. Yeah, I was like, no, you weren't. Trust me, Kanye. Different planet. I think he's an extraterrestrial. Like that man is just different. You don't know. I don't know what he's seen in his life, but he's different.
Well, I mean,
And
he's married to
he may be
Kim.
successful. Yeah, true. But realistically, that man has some trauma that is just unsolvable. I just feel like he's just seeing some shit that just Kanye is Kanye. You know what I mean? He's just gonna be crazy.
But it also
You gotta be ready
shows
for
that like when people actually are having mental illness struggles and get on medication, like we've seen him be pretty normal sometimes. And that's probably when he's taking his medication normally. But it's so like societally stigmatized, even especially in the cannabis industry. It's so like fuck big pharma, bro, which I understand because like big pharma created the opiate epidemic and that's like a fucking whole shit show on its own. But I think in the field of mental health specifically, like pharmaceuticals save people's fucking lives every single day, especially if you're struggling with anything on the mental health spectrum. So and I think even going farther to say that like cannabis for people struggling with a lot of things in the mental health spectrum cannot, for some cases, be helpful. Like there's some people who microdose or smoke every day and maintain, their bipolar or whatever it is. And there's other people that like if they're not taking their prescribed meds, they're gonna fucking lose their mind. And that's kind of where I was. Like, until I got on the right mental health concoction, I was going fucking insane. So it's an odd time, man. This COVID shit's. I don't think any of us are gonna get used to it, and it kind of starting to feel like the new norm, to be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I feel like our generation will just always be this. This it will impact our lives forever. Like
Right.
we're always gonna remember the COVID pandemic. You feel me?
Oh,
Like
for sure.
that's like our Spanish flu to
Right.
a degree. You know what I mean? We had Ebola. That was like kind of a scare, but this shut down the entire world. We have to realize that. Like everybody was
Right.
on lockdown. Nothing was happening for like a couple months. Like this
Yep.
thing, yeah, it was real bad because it spread like wildfire.
Right.
Like quite well, even in 2020. Yeah,
California's getting
wildfire.
fucked, man.
Trust me, I like I said,
Wildfire.
we actually can see blue now, which is nice. It was gray and orange
So
for
like,
a while.
are the fires out?
No, I don't think so. I haven't kept up with the news, to be honest. I know it's not in anywhere like near me that I'm in harm's way, like or anything. But I know that there's a lot of carbon that is going up north and hitting Oregon, and they're getting it real bad right now.
Yeah.
Washington's getting some of it too.
Right.
And it's just it shows. I think I saw this on Instagram or something like that. But there was an artist who recently put out a clock that shows the time frame of how long the Earth has until like our carbon. Carbon. I don't want to say carbon filter, but
Yeah.
carbon something like that.
It's
runs out.
the climate clock.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Climate
And it's like
clock.
7 years and some change or something like that.
Yeah.
And realistic, that's really short if you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
bro, 4 years goes by like that. Imagine 7 years is just like another 3. Like,
There's
I'm 23 now. I don't believe. I still can't believe I'm about to be 23. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Like, it's wild to think about.
Yeah, it's been there's also another thing. It was like it's another clock like that. It's called like the midnight clock or something, and it basically ticks down till the end of the world. And the closest it was ever to midnight was like during the Cold War, when everyone thought there was going to be like a nuclear fucking war, basically. And
Right.
it was like a couple seconds, like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes to midnight or something at that time. And then it got all the way down to like 6 minutes to midnight. And recently it was moved all the way up to like 30 seconds to midnight. So they're like, we're all gonna die soon.
Yeah, right. So that I guess that kind of ties into my question that I was gonna ask you guys. Would you guys have kids or get married while in this time? Do you consider yourself getting married if we have years to come? And would you consider having kids when we have years to come? I guess if we do, I'm not saying
100%.
within the span
Bruno's
of
like, fuck
7
yeah.
years. Well, yeah, you realistically, because you're already in a 5-year relationship, right?
Yeah.
Girlfriend's
Yeah,
like
so
sitting over his shoulder, like, would you, Bruno?
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you definitely are. But just for like I don't know, for like us single people, like realistically, within 7 years, I don't see myself getting super serious or super into any serious relationship because realistically, I kind of want me to be where I want to be in life before if that is the case. If 7 years comes, I want to be like in a good place in my life where I'm like, all right, I did enough. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
Yep.
And I'm out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not. I don't feel like I necessarily need a partner to do it. Yeah, it would be enjoyable. Like I wouldn't say commodity, but it would be like it'd be a plus. But I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? At this point in my life. So, and then to the kid situation, bro, I've seen so much. Like I don't even think I would know how to properly parent anyone anyway. So it's like. I don't think I can barely parent myself. What makes you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I feel like realistically, I could just. This is the time for me to live my life and find out what I really want and who I really like am as a person. So I don't really care. I mean, not to say I don't care, but I don't really have any desire to seek a relationship at this point. So
Right.
You also only being 23, you're only 3 years into the second part of your life.
Right.
You know, if you break down in 4 parts every 20 years, you're only
Right.
3 years into it. So like, if you just set goals for like when you're 40, then like you have that entire time span to do it. You know, just
Yeah.
works out like that.
All right, we'll take a quick break.
So I feel like before people used to get married at like 24, 25. Now it seems to be more like a 30 age range, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that it seems like I think that's just a generational economic thing as well. Like, I feel like all these other generations were set up and they would have a fucking house and they would have all these things because society was fine. And like by 25, you're working fucking 40 hours a week and making the equivalent of like 6 figures now, even if you're working at like a factory. And they already have a
Yep.
house and they already have everything set for them, whereas like our generation kind of got fucked. So most of us are still living with our fucking parents at 20 fucking 5, 30 even. So it's not like we're in a place to jump out there and get married right now. And I feel like for me especially, like I I agree with Nas and like I have to get my shit together before I'm in any kind of like a long-term relationship. And even at that, it's like I don't think even if I was in a really committed fucking awesome long-term relationship would ever really want to bring kids into this world. It's not only what we're going through as a society, but it's also just like there's a genetic component to addiction. And I don't think I would want to raise a kid that I would know that was probably going to be an addict. Like that, it
Right.
just sucks. Like I come from a long line of addicts. All my grandparents, all my parents were either alcoholics or addicts, and like I know genetically it's in my composition. So unless we can use fucking whatever that gene splicer thing is to actually figure out and isolate the specific addiction gene, and I can take that out of my genetic makeup, I don't think I ever really want to bring kids into the world. Maybe like, I would probably be down to adopt a kid.
I feel like that's more realistic for me than anything, to be honest with
right.
you.
Yeah.
Like
But
100% I would
like
agree
I
with
see,
that.
and I see like the relationship I have with my parents, and it's like one I don't even know personally, and then one does that. So you know, I at this point it's like I just gotta be me and just live as I am. Like I have to feel like I know it's selfish to say, but I have to be the center of my life for me to be sane. You know what I mean?
I mean
For
that's
me to
important
keep
though.
myself together. Yeah, because I feel like if I'm always
Mhm.
worried about what they're doing or what they're thinking and all this other stuff, then I'm never gonna get anywhere because I'm always worried about them, never worried about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it's selfish to do, but like this is the years to be selfish to get where you need to go, so you later down the road can be successful.
Right.
So it's like I I just it's I'm an adult now, so she of course is like you need to either pay or get the fuck out kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
help her around the house. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, but like as an artist is that's why I'm going back to grad school just so I can have a space to really develop my skills and develop my talent. So next, like as soon as I get out of grad school, I can go and apply for a job and start really working. You know what I mean? But
Right.
until that
Mhm.
comes, I'm just gonna have to just grind out commissions, keep grinding out art, and just try to get better every day making art. You know what I mean? Until I feel like I'm comfortable in the position, and then when I get to grad school, really start settling down on a project because I really want to get a good comic going for my first big project, and then work on that over 2 years. And I think what I'm going to do is do like a fight school, like fight night kind of thing, where they're based off of actual UFC fighters, but not their fighting style, not them themselves. There's some of them who would probably have some, similar flair, like Anderson Silva, for example, how he was always like, "What hit me?" You know what I mean? And still just
Mhm.
duck and weave and kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's some iconic moments like Nate Diaz's Stockton slap. Like I want to incorporate that into it. Like there's a bunch of different aspects because I became a big UFC fan over the past couple years because I used to watch anime and manga, and they really draw from real life, and MMA is basically that in real life. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, there's rules and limitations, but that's for their safety. But you still get that extreme, that violence, that kind of like that action drive, that primal instinct. You know what I mean? I feel like it's cool, so I want to incorporate that into the comic and just kind of develop that and go along with it, see where it leads me. But I feel like that would be a really cool thing to do.
I like
Yeah,
that you
for sure.
likened UFC to anime.
Honestly, yeah, it was Israel Adesanya that kind of did that to me because I was like, he is the first dude that came out and was like, yeah, I watch anime and I'll beat your ass. You know what I mean? He has like anime tattoos and shit. I'm like, yo, that's someone I would want to be. Like, he inspired me to actually want to get back into like fighting and like doing Muay Thai and doing like martial arts and stuff like that. But that's why I'm getting fit now because I don't want to get into the gym now and be like, can't, I can barely do like 20, 30 push-ups. So, like, my conditioning's probably trash. I probably got to start running again. You know what I mean? Just to get my conditioning up, just to learn some new techniques and really be able to develop. Because I feel like if I do it, I have a sense of like real life things. You know what I mean? I can actually incorporate it into my drawing. So I feel like it would just help me push that idea further.
MMA conditioning is like next level conditioning.
Yeah, it's like 5
there's
mile,
nothing I
10
felt
mile
like
runs and stuff. Oh, yeah,
I heard
that's
someone
why I'm
say.
like,
I was gonna say I heard someone say that conditioning is like, I think it was Mike Tyson actually on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said like getting fit or like exercising is just being able to fit into your clothes, whereas conditioning is like pushing through to your soul and fucking, it's like soul ripping.
digging deep. Yeah, you're digging deep because it hurts. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like building your body takes time and it takes patience and it's a lot of grit. Like, you got to be committed to working out every other, 5 times, 6 times a week, whatever it takes for you to be where you want to be. And especially if you're going for like something like a champion, like a UFC champion, that's low key solely your purpose in life right now is to go up there and go
Right.
get that belt no matter who's in front of you, and you just go beat them. You know what I mean? So I feel like that in itself, just that grit, that's what makes the sport awesome. You know what I mean? That's what makes it like entertaining to watch because those people came from all across the globe to be one champion. You know what I mean? To stand top everybody across the world to be like that weight class is champion. So,
And I think
everyone knows that they can get there.
Right.
If they want to fight, get there.
Get there, right? I think it's important to differentiate though. Like, we see all of these societal like body goals, ideals are either like people whose literally fitness is their job. Fitness is what they do all day, every day. They do it for fucking 6 to 8 hours a day to get into like UFC shape or UFC condition. And then there's like realistic ideal body goals, which is like you go to the gym an hour a day, maybe, or 5 days a week because it's like you can fit into your schedule. And you're still like in shape and you're still fit, but you're not fucking a UFC fighter fit, which is literally their job. That is their sole job, is to make sure their body is in peak physical condition.
Their body every day. Yeah.
Right.
They get paid more if they knock that guy out.
Right.
That's also that would drive me to knock you out. If I get paid big bills, I just hit you with dink. Sleep.
It's modern day gladiators. Like,
honestly, it really is. Yeah.
This is turning into the Joe Rogan podcast also, and I'm curious, random question, why do all women hate Joe Rogan? And are they going to hate our podcast as much as him?
Howard Stern as well. And Joe Rogan's kind of like similar to Howard Stern in his reign.
Like chauvinistic?
Yeah, like serious but not serious interviews style, where like you get information that someone who's very serious would never get.
Right.
They open celebrities up, which is something that they typically don't do.
Right. And I feel like the people that he usually brings on to the show have a personal connection with him already as it is, because he invites them onto his show and then they have a discussion, you know what I mean? So there's already kind of that connection that's like, all right, I know who you are already, but let's dig a little deeper. Let's kind of really filter and, get some, I don't want to say research done, but you know what I mean? Answer some questions and really figure out who they are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that makes people more relatable, like celebrities more relatable, quote unquote. Because at the end of the day, they're just people just like us. They just have extremely gifted talents, or they're just lucky. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of lucky celebrities out there that just hit the gold mine right at the right time. So it's, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm reading a book about luck right now, and a lot of what it's saying is like luck is a combination of a couple of different things. It's talent, it's hard work, and then it's also timing. And
Right.
a lot of people, they just put themselves in the right position to get the right opportunity, and then when that opportunity was presented to them, they took full grasp of it and ran with it. So it's like we all have opportunities, and if you can be aware enough to look for them, and you can put yourself in the right places for them, and actually once you get the opportunity, work your fucking ass off, you know, show your talent, show your work ethic, that's when luck turns into reality. So I think a lot of it's just there is an aspect of right place, right time, but a lot of that right place, right time aspect is putting yourself in the right place at the right time.
Place at their time.
Meet the right people.
Right.
Connections with the right people, you know.
And it's also like looking for patterns and being able to recognize patterns. Like if I take my YouTube channel as an example of luck, which a lot of it is luck. It was me seeing a pattern, being passionate at, you know, creating things, and then running with that pattern when I saw that like cannabis was being legalized everywhere. And once the opportunity fell in my lap and I started getting like subscribers and stuff, and my videos started hitting the sidebar, I just fucking ran with it. And I did it for like 4 years time. And a lot of people just contribute that to, fuck man, you're so lucky, I wish I could be in your position. It's like, you fucking can. You just have to start creating. You have to find your niche, start creating, and work your ass off. And all of a sudden, you're doing what you want to be doing.
Yep.
So, luck is an odd thing. I think one of the quotes in the book was like, luck is an angry person's way of being mad at me, or something like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's their excuse for them to be angry. Like they could be doing that, but they just chose different paths that didn't lead to that. Like, you know if you really want something, right, and you know you gotta grind and work your ass off to go get it, and you're passionate about it, you're gonna go get it. That's just that's how we work. You know what I mean? That's what passion is. But if you're not really gonna be committed to it, then yeah, you're gonna fall off and settle for something that you don't like and you don't want, and then you're gonna be mad at yourself, and that's called regret, my friend.
Right.
And then you're mad, you know what I mean? And then you gotta go counseling, and then a bunch of that. So it's more about. I feel like this is what COVID has taught me, especially having time alone with myself. I have to realize that what I want, I'm gonna have to work my ass off. I'm gonna have to spend countless nights fucking drawing the same frame over and over, working on different projects, staying up all night, drinking probably like a whole level form of coffee. I don't know what I'm gonna do to stay awake. And just grinding my ass off, working on movies. Yeah, Bang. Hey, or Nas too. I don't know. Whatever
sense.
wants to sponsor us, dog, I'll take it. Listen. we out here. But yeah, realistically, it's really about, you got to put one step forward every time, because if you settle and stop, you're gonna be complacent. When you get complacent, then you don't feel like doing nothing. You know what I mean? You don't feel like creating. You don't feel, I can do it later. Oh, I can do that tomorrow. Nah, like, what's stopping you from doing it today? You know what I mean? What's really stopping you from doing it today? Is it because you don't want to, or is it because you just don't feel like it?
Every day you don't start is a day you could have already been started. So
Right.
when you're 30 days in, you could have been 30 days, learn something. Instead of your 30 days of thinking, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's especially common in people who want to be creative. Like, there's always people that, and like I said, I love cannabis. I think that a lot of people that consume cannabis aren't lazy people, but I think consuming cannabis makes you, on the days that you don't really want to be going and doing things, be okay with doing nothing. I feel like there's a part of cannabis that, like, at least for me personally, when I consumed, I was plenty okay with whatever I was doing that day. Like, if I was bored, I would smoke, and then I wasn't bored anymore because I was high. So, like, there was a level of complacency in my cannabis use that just, like, made me okay with not doing as much as I should have. And that was something I saw in the comments, either on Instagram or on one of my old videos today. Someone was like, how the fuck can you be sober? Isn't it super boring? And the answer is fuck no. Like, if I'm bored, I can now recognize that that's my natural instinct telling me, get the fuck out and go do something, or go do something you should be doing.
Right.
And I can no longer just smoke that feeling away and not be bored anymore. It's like if I'm bored, I'm going to go work out, or I'm going to play some video games, or I'm going to read a book. I'm going to do something that's like progressing my life. I guess video games aren't always progressing my life, but they're still
it's
fun.
enjoyment. It's a sense of enjoyment. Like you enjoy being, because like realistically, like what else besides making content? There's gonna be that like period of time where you're actually doing nothing. You know what I mean? You
Right.
have nothing you really could be doing,
Right.
and that's where you. I mean, for some people, that's their time to meditate, which I understand, but usually that's where hobbies come into play, where you
Right.
do something else besides focusing on yourself. You focus on something you enjoy, not something that
Right.
is like self-reflective, right? Because if you're always looking at yourself, you're not gonna go anywhere. You're just gonna mirror yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. You might be a
So you gotta
narcissist.
look at yourself from like, oh, thank you. See, hey, you said cannabis is bad.
No.
But like realistically, like for me personally, cannabis, although it does have the, like you said, lack of, like I sometimes I get complacent, like, oh, I'm chilling with playing video games for today. You know what I mean? But realistically, when I like think about it, I know for a fact like I gotta get there, no matter
Right.
what. Before maybe the world may end tomorrow. I don't fucking know. But there's some point in my day where I gotta take one step forward. You know what I
Right.
mean? I gotta get towards my goal by any means at this point, because I'm not dying with no regret. Though. I gotta die with no regrets. I mean, like that's just what it is. I mean, yeah, my past, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've already gone and tried to apologize, and some of those relationships just won't be mended, and I got to be okay with that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I can't dwell on it too much and just keep. I know it's really fucking corny to say, keep pushing forward. Just keep
No, it's true.
one more foot. You know what I mean? It's not. Life's not a fucking sprint, and I'm a sprinter. I know.
Right.
I get gassed after running one fucking 400-meter lap. Like, bro, I be wanting to like quit. Bro, I had my coach would make me run the mile every time we had a track meet just to keep us in condition. And I hated it every fucking time. But you know what? Like, I know it built me for doing my events and stuff, and it's supposed to make me better. But not everything makes you better feels good.
Right.
Not everything you're gonna go through to get better is gonna feel good. You know what I mean? It's gonna be there's gonna be some times where you're like I said, life. Josh, I say this all the time. Life kicks you in the nuts. It's about getting your ass back up after you just got kicked in the nuts. Yeah, you may be out of breath, but you're gonna get your air back. And when you get your air back, you just gotta keep pushing. You just gotta fuck. All right, life, come at me one more. And it's gonna happen like multiple times. Life's gonna kick you in the nuts multiple times. That's what it is. I don't know if it's a Buddha teaching that says like, life is a part of life is suffering, right?
Right.
Having not dwell on it, but like being able to make peace with that. That's what meditation I feel like is for, because you're in that space, you're in that moment. You're not dwelling on your past. You're not worried about your future. You're in that space in that moment. You know what I mean?
And I mean, we're all humans. Like that's something that I almost feel like cancel culture especially doesn't really take into account. Like I understand some people don't deserve fucking, if they do something absolutely horrendous, they probably don't deserve the greatest life. But at the same time, we're all still humans, and if someone makes even a fucked up mistake and can dust themselves off, can realize and recognize that they fucked up, can actually seek the help they need, it's like they're going to be able to continue and move on and live a happy life. So like we all make fucking mistakes, and sometimes it's making the same mistake over and over and over again. And when you can catch that pattern, recognize that pattern, move on and grow from it, that's when we learn a lesson. Like it's so fucking important for people to realize that as long as you're making some kind of daily progress, you're not a failure, you're not a fuck up. Like you're only a fuck up if you make the same failure every fucking day and never learn from it. And then all of a sudden you die with regret.
The darkest times. Like even if like you're having a really tough time or whatever, like I feel like the best things always come immediately after the worst times.
Right.
Like it's life just kind of works out like that. It's like you got your channel back.
Right.
Right after getting out of rehab and going into sober house. Like
right.
It just works like that. It doesn't. Nobody can explain it. just works like that. It's weird.
Isn't that yin? Like yin and yang is basically that
Yeah,
that
basically.
mentality of like there's darkness and there's light, and sometimes there's light in darkness, sometimes there's darkness in light, but there's
Yeah.
two sides of the coin. And life, like you said, Nas, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you get a cramp in the middle of this fucking sprint, then
It's gonna, yeah, shit, it hurts. You gonna have to
right,
roll that bitch out, but yeah, you just keep it moving. You know what I mean?
right,
It's I don't want to say is the goal is to finish. The goal is to get, like, for me personally, my goal is to get to a status of like Donald Glover creativity, where people will recognize my talents in multiple fields and realize that this guy is someone different. This one has a creative talent gift that no one else has. You know what I mean?
right.
And it's gonna take a hell of a lot of work. I know I've seen Donald Glover's I kind of done my research on him, and he didn't have an easy childhood. None of us. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you grew up between 1950 and 2000, that's like 50 years, right? You have some type of trauma because somewhere in the world there was some major event that it was just like catastrophic,
Right.
like through 10 years. You know what I mean? It's like humans, as like we naturally almost bring ourselves to extinction and then kind of realign ourselves after we scathe the pavement. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you barely skid it, but you're going back up and you're like coasting again. And I feel like that's kind of where we're heading. Hopefully, I don't want to say this is gonna be the and we're just like, well,
Cross the
here we
fingers.
go. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you gotta keep a positive mindset. Like I said, I kind of like to live by this rule now. It's like life is, like you said, there's two coins. There's two sides to every coin. If you keep your side on the positive side, you know what I mean. You don't have to go to the negative side. Negative. You just gotta
Right.
catch yourself when you go to that negative side. You just gotta flip it back over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it may be tough for some people because your mind's already trained that way. You're trained to think negatively because you kind of always thought negatively. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you can like keep your mind and like be like, all right, you recognize it, like, all right, hold on, this is not. It is usually when you're dwelling on something that you really had either no control of or like it's already over, kind of like it's in the past thing, and it's.
Mhm.
I feel like most of the time, I guess that's for me personally. Most of the time, it's something that I'm dwelling on, and I'm like, fuck, I'm a really shitty person because I did this. Yeah, I did that, but now I know, like, next time, maybe not be an asshole or not
Right.
be a dick to other people or not misuse people's, like, friendship and trust and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
you learn to be a better person through the mistakes you make. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because you can like I say, as long as you're taking a step forward, you can become a better person by the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as you're constantly trying to make an effort to do so.
Mhm.
I mean, there's sometimes where I'm still like a dick to people. You know what I mean? I still do shit on accident. Like, I don't intentionally notice it. Those are my toxic traits, I would guess you would want to say. You know what I
We'll
mean?
talk about that
And,
after this. After this, you being a dick to me. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Berta, I mentioned your hairline not once in the past 3 months. I feel like I've been very good on being
My
nice.
hairline.
All right? I call you Hoochie every other often, but that's just me showing my love for you. Okay? That's me. That's my way of saying you're my bro, in the weirdest way possible.
But I mean, to that point, like in the recovery programs and stuff, like there's two different fields of that. There's amends and there's living amends. And amends are like, things that you can directly do to the people you've hurt, and things you can say, and things that you can do to change essentially the way that you feel about the situation. Because like you can never control another person and the way that they feel. And if you are, that's like a form of manipulation. So like one of the things is like you either make amends to that person and try to make it so you are peaceful with the resent that you've built towards that situation, or you make a living amends and you change your actions. Because there's some things that you're never going to be able to apologize for, you're never going to actually be able to make amends for. So the only way you can truly actually make that amends is change your future actions.
Wait, yeah, exactly.
So
Acknowledging it, going down the road,
right.
staying kind of constant, not constant awareness, but always being aware of your not actions per se, but your just aware of yourself. of how you
Right.
act, how you interact with others, and behave. And I've honestly, that's what I've kind of been improving on, especially like with my family situation, because it's like I'm not gonna lie, I had a really this is like a rough patch with like me and my like mom, but like I'm starting to realize a lot of it is just me reacting to some of her toxic traits, and then me growing even more toxic. I gotta realize like she's been through her own fair stuff. There's a reason why she acts the way she acts. I have to be able to realize that she's not doing this on purpose. It's not to
Right.
be. It's not to be a dick. It's just to bring awareness to a situation, and the way she communicates is different than my way of communication. So it's. I mean, yeah, I still get pissed off here and there. I'm not gonna lie, you fucking yelling at me in my face. Yeah, fucking annoying, but you know what I mean. I'm not gonna fucking get like I'm not gonna be as resentful and angry as I used to, like as I was as a teenager, as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different now.
Learn and adapt. As you get older,
Right.
just keep learning and adapting, and
Right.
then
It's like
you'll be
adding
good.
like a piece of chainmail to your armor. You know what I mean? Keep taking one step, and you just
Well,
quiet
that's
as you go.
especially like Bruto was talking about earlier with you. Like you're in that early stage of your 20s, and I think that some of my personal most growth happened between like 21 and 25.
Right.
Like I'm nowhere at 25 today. I'm not the same person I was at 24, not the same person I was at 23, 22, 21. And like in those 5 years, there's so fucking much growth that happens. Like there's a lot of growth throughout your childhood. You're constantly learning more. You're constantly adapting to your environment. But when it comes to learning how to be an adult that's in like relationships and participating in society, like you learn so fucking much throughout the next few years.
Yeah.
So that's huge. But I actually have a question about relationships. It's random. I'm gonna get us off our serious topic. So let's say a girl. I know this doesn't really relate to Bruta because you're in a long-term relationship. But a girl you're talking to on Tinder asks you, "Send me your best meme." What do you send them?
Oh.
Is that an invitation for a dick pic?
Oh, yikes. Hold on, I have it ready. Because I told you earlier what it was.
Oh.
Honestly, if you do the editing, I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
so you can
link
put
it in the chat and
video.
I'll bring it
Yeah.
up.
It's my Smackaho senses are tingling. And it's Spider it's what's his name? The dude from Spider-Man, the guy who's the reporter, the head dude. I forget his name. Jameson? No. Something like that. It is like his hands. Like, it looks like the spider sense is tingling around his hand. I was like, bro, there's so many times where like I know there's like I said, I know I have some asshole tendencies, but there's sometimes where people just say some dumb ass shit, and it just infuriates me for some odd reason. I have to realize that I have to be more like empathetic because some people just don't know, you know. But they're just some dumb ass people that just say some dumb ass things that just make me want to be like. Like, really? Are you stupid? Like, hello? Like, look, hello. Is your brain on? Is your brain functioning? I need you to actually interact like a normal human being, actually have some common sense, and apply that common sense right now.
I've had to apply that a lot lately. Of like, the realization that other people grew up differently, have different environmental conditioning, and don't think the same way that I do. And like you kind of have to accept that, I guess. It sucks, but like
trust me,
you can't change a lot of people's environmental conditioning unless they themselves want to change it. So like people just, it's true, people are fucking stupid. I think
just some people that are just dead set in their ways, and you're just like you can't process the way they're thinking because you already have your own individual way of thinking.
Right.
And no matter how hard they may explain it or describe it, you're never gonna really see eye to eye because you already had these different interactions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just it's a battle of experience mixed with what's the word I want to say? What's personal opinion? Yeah, experiences and personal opinion. That's what it is.
Well, I think like we're so accepting as a society nowadays of like all people, all credences, all genders, all races, and everything. I mean, most of us are, but people are not accepting of opinions. Like
they're not. They're really not.
If anything, we're probably at a point in society where we're the least accepting of other people's opinions we've ever been.
But
Yeah, definitely.
previously, you wouldn't have seen this many opinions.
Right.
That's
Think about
true.
how many opinions we see versus like 100 years ago
Right.
when cars didn't even
Everyone kind of
exist.
thought the
You
same
know,
way back then, which is crazy to me.
like cars existed but weren't like popular, and like
Right.
that'd be insane. You'd barely interact with anyone.
Right. You'd interact with the people in your town, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me to think about, is because like I've realized that I've been kind of all over the state, like the western coast, but like I've interacted with so many people that I can't remember all of them as a whole. Where there's some lives where they only knew 20 people, and that
Right.
was the 20 people they knew their entire life, and that was it. You know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
Right.
crazy to think about, because it's like we live in a day and age where we're all like, I'm connected to you guys, like, and you're like halfway across this, all the way up north in freaking Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
You're all the way up in
Seattle
Washington,
area.
and Britta's in Canada. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
I'm in California. There's like it would take me many moons to get to where you guys are. Let's just say that.
Especially if you were
And the
traveling by horse.
imagine, right? So it's like the interaction we can have now on a day-to-day basis is just kind of like mind-blowing in a way, but also kind of like kind of scary. It's a little weird.
I think
We
my
had so
favorite
much
saying,
progress in a short period of time, you know?
right, my favorite saying about this is think of the dumbest person you know and realize that half of the world is twice as dumb as that person. And we're seeing all of those opinions on a daily basis through social media,
Yeah.
through fucking interactions online. It's just like recently I deleted Twitter from my phone, and I'll go on Instagram pretty much daily, but I would say 50% of the pages I follow now are cat pages. And there's no stupid opinions on fucking cat pages. It's just cute cats. So
You just made me realize something so important and so sad at the same time, because I'm like, there's no way there's that many people. No, yeah, he's right. There probably is that many people that are quite literally dumber than a bag of rocks. Like, have no sense of mental awareness, nothing. They're just a being who has their opinion, and that's the way it is, and it
Right.
doesn't matter what you say. That's just them. Point blank period.
right.
Just
Well, they
And-
know
and-
everything. You don't. They do.
right.
Yeah.
You stupid, not me. Which makes me feel like, here's my question. Is it at that point, do I feel like I'm in a simulation because I'm always right? Or do I think I'm always right? Or is it like how do you realistically, because I can't process that way of living, because I've been wrong. I can recognize where I've not been right. You know what I mean? It's very prominent that I'm not always right.
Right.
So
You're right until you're wrong.
prove me guilty until then I'm innocent. I ain't do nothing.
Well, I mean, and like, we're also coming at this from like a first world perspective, where
Yes, true.
we're educated, we are pretty affluent, we can read all this shit, and we are, in terms of global population, we're a minority. Like, there's countries that have billions of people, which 50% of their population is illiterate, or living in poverty situations, don't have access to the wealth of information we do just online. So it's like, in our country, there's probably half the people are dumb as a bag of rocks, but there's other countries where they don't even really have the opportunity to get outside of their situation.
Yeah.
Their
There's
potential is
actually
just limited because
Right.
of their current situation.
the
Right.
resources. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually saw a documentary on a YouTube. It was a suggested YouTube channel. You know how I like watching animal documentaries. And it was a nature documentary, kind of how kids get to school, like the most severe walks to school. And there's kids that have to climb up mountains just to get to fucking school. I said, if I ever had I would be illiterate too if I had to climb a goddamn mountain just to learn a goddamn book. Hell no. I'm staying my ass at home and I'm farming. Like, that's
Right.
the easy. No. You know what I mean? If I feel like the world is a truth to ignorance is bliss. Because
Right.
if you really don't know anything and all you know is eat, sleep, engage with others, repeat,
That's what you're gonna do.
good. You know what I
Right?
mean? It's like
Yep.
you're chilling. You hunt, gather, you do the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like pretty vibing. It's not, you know what I mean? And we live, I guess, because we're so developed as a country that we cause more problems for ourselves because we have so
Right.
many luxuries and we're always thinking about what the next thing could be, what the next problem is. There's something, you know what I mean? We're always trying to solve the next problem.
And
And
that's a huge like issue in our country, I think, is that we push material shit on people. We push like
yeah,
the want for material shit, and then we also push the need for some sense of fame or recognition. And like realistically, there's people out there like you said that are just fucking farming all day. And that's their life, is like learning how to be, yes, they want to be the best farmer, but it's not for ego related issues. It's not
right.
because,
It's
I want to
more
be
they want
seen
to,
as the best farmer. Like they want to fucking feed their family.
exactly.
They want a
Quite
bigger
literally,
crop because
just
it's
trying
going to
to
get them
live.
through the
Yeah,
winter. Not because they want to be like, bro, I'm the best fucking farmer there is out there. And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
all we're chasing in a country. Like we have so many luxury needs that are we see as essentials, that we see as normal, that other people in the world don't even get to see in their entire fucking life. Like not many
Right,
people are able to sit in front of a computer and talk to a microphone even for fun.
right.
Let
Yeah.
alone like as a job or anything like that. So we're really fucking lucky.
It just
Yeah.
um
shows that like America, we got some pluses, but
right.
there's just some social society issues that we just can't seem to figure out due to, like you said, everyone's opinion, because everyone's opinion is different, and when you fail to look or even try to understand someone else, it's gonna cause conflict. That's
Right.
how humans interact. If you don't like the way I'm doing something and I don't like the way you're doing something, we're gonna scrap about it until one of us is right. And
Right.
that may mean
Hmm.
going to war. That may, be mean going into, that's it's a versus. We have a versus each other mentality when we should have a more cohesive mentality. And I know
Right.
that sounds kind of like communism, but like, not. I'm not saying as a fucking like government or a society. I'm talking about just as humans in general.
Right.
We should
Yeah.
be cohesive. Like, we're all human. We need to keep keep us
Almost as
going.
if
You know what
we're
I
the
mean?
human
Not
race, you know?
right.
Like why can't we treat like everyone as if everyone is human, you know?
Right.
Right.
Rather than dividing everyone by all these details, like your ears are small, you know, like you can get so detailed with stupid
Yeah,
shit.
and it's really interesting to see that like people, based on your appearance alone, have some type or sense or already prejudgmental mentality. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, have you seen them or not, you already have some kind of already existing connotation of someone, even though if you never met them before, which is kind
Right.
of wild to think about. But like, it's true. Like, you know what I mean? And that's where like I feel like a lot of your self kind of like reflection, like your subconscious, you have to be cognizant of that and being able to acknowledge that and be like, all right, they may not have the same lifestyle I've had to. So they may have a completely different experience, a completely different outlook on this thing. I have to, as a person, be willing to accept and be like, okay, I can understand that. But when they don't give you a valid reason, or like they're just saying, oh, that's just because, the internet told me or Facebook told me, I'm just like, my smack a hoe senses are tingling. Like, stupid. Like, do your own research, please, people. Just do your own research. Not because little Timmy said it on Facebook is all because it's true. That's just not how that works.
Yeah.
Right.
It just yeah.
And all the
Yeah.
information is there. Like you can see both sides and form an opinion. I think it's pretty easy, but apparently people struggle. I have no idea.
Right. Like, I'm like, how hard is it to talk to someone for 5 minutes before you actually make a judgment, like a connotation? You know what I mean? Before you start judging someone just because they're like walking away or they look like
Right.
they're having a shit day.
Hmm.
People have shit days and they just look mad. You know what I mean? That's just, it's not you. They're not about to do something to you. They're just having a shit day, bro. Like, it's not like they're being hostile. You know what I mean? And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of people take it to heart because they're not getting acknowledged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
No, there's some deep
someone.
like trauma involved, or like I constantly loop back to mental illness, but that's a big thing, is like you don't ever know what someone else is going through. Someone could be
Right.
manifesting trauma in a different way that you've ever seen because you've had like a coddled life, or you've had like a different environmental experience as them.
Right.
And like someone could just be fucking angry because their life fucking sucks at that point in time, and they either can't get the help they need, they're not getting the help they need, and they're just not able to look outside themselves. So that's why I almost feel like I'm becoming more compassionate as I learn more about mental health, because I'm like, that person might just have not been educated, might just have had a shit upbringing, and they're manifesting it outwardly in a really fucking weird way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way our brains work is just so weird to me. It's just there's so much complexity and diversity in the way we
Right.
think alone. You know what I mean? Not to mention like all the random variables that come with life. You know what I mean? That makes it life. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like, especially when you consider time. You know, timing and just placement, just being in the right place at the right time and grinding and
Right.
stuff. All of that
Yeah.
kind of ties in together. It's kind of wild to think about.
All right,
That's pretty
Bruta,
wild.
you didn't tell us your favorite meme.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah. We
I
wanted
probably
to
would have
go
screenshotted the chat and sent that photo back. That'll be it.
That's a
Oh,
power
earlier.
move. That's a power move, if anything.
Oh, if laid it out right there. Boom. You want a meme?
We're
There
gonna
you
I'm
go.
not gonna lie, we're probably gonna have some pretty good memes after this. Just my facial expressions alone, you know what I mean? I guarantee you.
I have
like
a
10 or
green
15 of
screen
them.
behind me.
Right. The possibilities are endless for things you could do to Bruta. You're setting yourself up either for failure or for success there. I can't really tell.
I haven't done anything crazy. Actually, no, maybe with the swords. I don't know.
Maybe with the sword. It gets a Game of Thrones background back there or something. Lord Bruta, first of his name. I guess third. I don't know.
King of the Knoll.
King of the North.
King of the North.
Quite literally.
Valid. All right, boys.
Clippers lost.
I
Or not.
think that's probably going to be our first episode, as we're wrapping up at about an hour and a half. So I appreciate y'all coming on to talk. Many more of these will be done. Any closing sentiments for the boys?
Me personally, don't take that killing a baby hippo seriously. That was just a hypothetical. I would never do that. Like, realistic, I wouldn't do that. But if the money was 5.5 million, I'm just saying, you know.
He's like, I would fuck up a hippo.
I gotta do what I gotta do, bro. If that's gonna
baby
put me
hippo.
one more step closer to my goal, hey, it is what it is, little man.
Yo,
I'm sorry. I hope you
And they should
understand, dog.
comment. They should comment their choice.
Yeah, comment your
Whatever
choice
people say.
of both what would you use against 300 goats, and then also comment what animal you would take on. I bet you there's an animal that's just an outlier that's sitting there staring us in the face.
I was thinking about that.
That's not a human.
Cow?
Yeah.
A cow? I mean,
Yo,
cows are
cows
pretty
not
tame.
bad, yo. That's a
Yo, cows are pretty
Actually,
tame.
how the fuck did we forget about a
Tip
cow?
tip it.
Just tip
I
it and
got
it's
it.
done.
Yo, I better get the most like comment because that's my idea.
Alright, all.
Damn, didn't even
I love everyone that's stopping through. I love everyone that sat through the entire thing. Why don't you think of a phrase to make them comment if they actually watch the entire podcast?
Blueberry bacon.
Blueberry bacon.
Put that somewhere in the
sounds pretty
comment.
bomb.
We know. Blueberry bacon.
Yep.
Alright, peace all. Love you guys.
Peace.